I'm Jill Savage, joined by Editor-in-Chief Matthew Peterson.
Who's writing this show? Like, what's going on with this Epstein thing again? What are we doing here?
It's a great topic. I know everybody loves it, especially DC politics editor Chris Bedford. It's his favorite topic. Jeffrey Epstein.
I'm writing about right now. I really care about it.
You are writing about it all the time because it's still in the headlines. We have the House Oversight Committee. They're opening up its probe with the testimony from former AG Bill Barr. So we all know Barr is not a big fan of Trump, but he told Chairman Comer that there's no evidence tying Trump to Epstein's activities. So, Bedford, when we look at this, is this actually a setback for the Democrats, or is this actually giving them like some more ammo to go after him right now?
I think all aspects of the coverage these days are setbacks for the Democrats. The people who actually were able to get these reports were the House representatives, Republicans, and the testimony so far by that same committee, closed door, but leaked to the press by members who were there, is what you just talked about right there. That President Trump was never even remotely implicated in the scandal, and that was never even really a question. I mean, it maybe briefly came up early in the 2016 campaign, but the narrative quickly, the reporting and the reality quickly revealed itself to not be true, not actually have him connected to this ring, just that he knew some of these people. And of course they did. I mean, he operated out of Florida, a lot of it, and New York. That was some of the home bases. So he was in social circles until he kicked them out. Democrats, though, have just really severely overplayed their hand. And that's what I'm writing about. It's kind of what we talked about a little bit last night. It's kind of gone when they say things, why is Donald Trump on the roof of the White House, touring it, by the way, with his architect that's doing the East Wing rebuild, James McCreary. Is it possibly to distract from the Epstein files? No, it's probably to tour it with the architect for the rebuild. Or over the weekend, that great clip you played yesterday of Swalwell saying that meeting with Putin to discuss an end to the war in Europe is actually just a ploy to distract B-2 bombers, Air Force Base, and all. It seems a lot more like Democrats are screaming into the wind at this point. Hey, we don't get off message. We don't want to talk about all the wins. We don't want to talk about all the good things going on in the administration. All of this, all that really matters is Epstein. And it's starting to become like, the first song that they played was Russia, 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 Russia. The second song they played was Ukraine, 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 perfect phone calls, Zelensky, etc. And the third one they're playing is this. And each one since that first hit has really failed to make the charts.
Top 40 hits by Chris Bedford. Who knew we were going to get, a top 40 countdown? But when you talk about Democrats, they're claiming that Comer, he's not an investigator. He's actually just part of Trump's cleanup crew out there. So, Matt, when you look at it, like every time the Democrats don't get their way, they're like, it's a cover up, right? This is what we're seeing. So is this going to be the playbook no matter what happens, right? Like literally the headlines could be anything right now. They'd just be saying it's a cover up.
I don't think that they have a playbook, right? I mean, I think we're at the point in which this won't be the playbook moving forward. They don't know what the playbook will be. This is ridiculous. This is the kind of thing where I don't need Bill Barr to tell me that Trump isn't implicated, because we all know, and we've said it a million times, if Trump had been implicated in any way whatsoever, we would have heard it shouted from the rooftops for years, because we're making up crimes for Trump. If he actually was implicated in a serious way, in any way, we would know, and we don't. And the only thing that I'm thinking right now in this block here with Chris is, when it comes to the architect, I love McCreary, I love his work, and I love what they're doing to the White House. But I do have this small part of me that just wants Trump to build a McDonald's on the roof. I just want a McDonald's on the roof of the White House. Can we have that? I think it'd be great. He could take people up there and like serve them the fries. It may not be as beautiful as what they're planning, but
Chris.
He's certainly not jogging to the McDonald's like Bill Clinton used to do as part of his fitness routine. But maybe he'll take a golf cart over to the McDonald's across the street from the White House.
Yeah, I look at what we have going on here with the Oversight Committee, right? We're going to get some big names that are going to be coming forward. Of course, we have Sessions, Comey, Bill, and Hill. So this could get actually pretty exciting. Like, if you're on the right, this might be one of the more exciting things that we've had happen to us in quite some time when it comes to the point where we're actually going to be putting people, with subpoenas in front of everybody out there in DC. So what are we actually expecting, though, from this, Matt? When we look at this, like, should I temper my expectations? Because usually we get very excited on the right, and then nothing happens.
Okay, I hate to say this. I hate to be the Chris Bedford of this segment.
Oh.
But Mrs. Chris's job to do this. But I'll step in the gap here. Yeah, you absolutely should temper your expectations. You should expect, really, I think, very little. But it will be a fun spectacle. I mean, of substance, expect nothing. But a spectacle and actually, making people uncomfortable who should feel uncomfortable, that part of it's going to be freaking great. And everyone will be there with bells on because this issue does resonate with the American people. Epstein represents corruption in this country. His whole story seeped right into the heart of American culture. There were flags and, off the freeway in LA saying Epstein didn't kill himself. This is a four corners sort of entertainment drama. And if you bring in some A-listers, like you bring in some old Clintons, that's going to be fun. I mean, so if this actually goes off, it will be good entertainment. It'll make people uncomfortable, but don't expect anything of substance to be said, I don't think.
Well, we're trying to get things done out there in Washington, D.C., and we have a new co-deputy director of the FBI. We are going to get Missouri AG Andrew Bailey. This is going to all start on September 8th. Matt, I want to go back to you, though. So why is Bailey being added now at this point in time? Why is this important?
Well, that's a loaded question. I mean, there's a lot of talk about why that might be now. But I think fundamentally they need very talented people in extremely important positions to get the job done. And there's not a lot of people. Everyone knows Kash and Bongino. This is a large agency where a ton of reform is needed. It's at the heart of the corruption that's been allowed to fester in this country. So it would make sense to bring in someone who's a very sharp, aggressive AG who's done a great work in Missouri and had a national impact, someone whose name has been around for some of these posts for a while since the inauguration. So it makes a lot of sense to bring in more talent to the situation. That's the positive, right? The negative is that there's some things maybe that aren't getting done that people think should get done, and they feel that there needs to be some change in how leadership is operating.
Yeah, Bailey's filed multiple lawsuits against the Biden administration. He's well known for the Murphy versus Missouri legal case. And when we look at all these things that are going down right now, Chris, it's interesting timing in that we got 6 months into this, and now they're like, okay, you know what? Another co-deputy director. Anytime you put co in front of something, it's like, okay, what is actually happening right now?
Well, there's certainly room in the job for it. The deputy director oversees the personnel of the FBI. So that's tens of thousands of people that he's got to deal with and got to manage. And Bongino, despite being a former officer, Secret Service agent, and despite having a very successful radio show and podcast, doesn't have that kind of management experience. And he's also, I'm sure, a little burned out by some of the aspects of this. It can be exhausting. DC can really wear you down. It's one of the reasons why he left and went into commentary in the first place and the successes he had there. There's also, of course, a lot that he could potentially be doing back in Florida. I think there might be a Republican congressional district that we've done some reporting on where the congressman there is in some hot water and has been iced out of the Trump family. So that's a district that Bongino lives in, and one where he could actually be able to become potentially run in. So the rumors in Washington are that he's there eventually to replace someone. Now, Attorney General Andrew Bailey's done a really great work in his state. He fought Planned Parenthood. He fought on transgender issues. He fought on illegals on the voting rolls. He fought the Biden administration up and down on a lot of these main things. He originally wanted the job of director of the FBI and was not, as far as I could tell, willing to take anything less than that. Now his tune has changed. Who knows exactly what he was offered by the White House? And people are trying to figure out right now, is he there to potentially replace Bongino, if that's the case? Or was he even there to potentially replace Kash Patel, who has been someone who's used to Washington, D.C., hasn't managed remotely this level of people, but is a broad reason, a main reason for why we have so much of this Russiagate information in the first place has been exposed. It's because of the work that Kash has done in DC over the years, the investigations he's done, the ability he's had to overturn that sort of stuff. And that's where it starts to get a little spicier, because I think that would start to really upset more people.
Yeah, so we should, I mean, Kash Patel is someone who has been on top of Russiagate from the beginning. He's been very, brave. He did some great things for the president over the years. But we do have to say, I mean, he's running a large agency. That's a totally different job than he's ever had before, right? And the other problem, I'll just say, is that there is a fact pattern here where it's hard to tell from the outside what's going on, because he's not, someone could argue this is to his credit, but some others might say it's not. And that is, it doesn't feel like he's in charge of the FBI. He's not kind of out there every day, right, talking about this and that, and now we're going to do this, and now we're going to do that. And so you say, well, okay, maybe he's leading it, from within. But there is a lot of talk, around town and elsewhere that's not happening, and that some of these reports on the left, well, no one wants to agree with them publicly, may have some validity to them in terms of how things are going over there at the FBI. So, we'll have to wait and see. But the main thing I think we should take away from this is that, look, Bailey is talented. Bailey is energetic. And they need more than two people at the top of this thing. And whatever's going on over there, we need someone who's going to be aggressive and who's going to actually clean house. And so, we on this show and many others have given the benefit of the doubt about some of the questionable moves that have been made, including some of the personnel stuff, right? We've had Steve Baker on talk about why these J6 people not all the hell out of here. There was arguments that were made like, well, they're going to be involved in certain cases and so forth and so on. All of that has led to a little bit of confusion. And I would venture to guess that Bailey's the kind of guy who doesn't like confusion.
Yeah, we will definitely stay on this story because there is a lot still to develop with this one, I'm sure.